Nigeria has just celebrated its 100 years of existence. However, many believe that what the country should be doing as a nation now is to dispassionately and critically examine the journey so far and on an imaginary scale count our successes, achievements, challenges and failures and think through which side weighs more. Hello, thank you for joining us. Welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimezie Obi-Wagu. It's 100 years of Nigeria's existence as a nation. However, the questions a lot of people have continued to ask are, must we celebrate? Do we have success stories which should spur celebration, or should this provide an opportunity to think through our challenges and possibly proffer solutions to them? For some, should we celebrate just because of the number of years we have been able to be together as a nation? Or should we celebrate because we have achieved quite a lot in terms of economic development? Well, that's my focus on today's edition of the program. And one of the people who think that we have every reason to celebrate and thank God for is a business consultant and an economic expert, the GMD, Suru Group Limited, Mr. Edward Akinlade. However, he believes that governments at all levels still have a lot to do towards Nigeria's economic development. Please don't go away. We'll be back shortly. We begin with the stories that made headline this week on the world of business.
The United States has frozen more than $458 million that former military head of state General Sani Abacha and his conspirators obtained through corruption and hidden bank accounts around the world. A statement issued by the U.S. Justice Department said that about $313 million was restrained in bank accounts in the bailiwick of Jersey and $145 million was restrained in bank accounts in France. The department adds that it's pursuing additional holdings in the United Kingdom with an expected value of at least $100 million, but that the exact amount will be determined later. Nigeria's external reserves dropped to a new low at $39.7 billion on the 3rd of March. The decline represents a $3.04 billion drop from the level exactly 1 month ago, while on a year-to-date basis, the nation's foreign reserves declined by $7.83 billion in the last 1 year. The CBN's fourth quarter economic report published on Tuesday shows that the December-end gross external reserves indicated a decline of 2.9% below the $44.11 billion recorded at the end of the preceding quarter. Renowned international rating agency Fitch Ratings has affirmed the long-term issuer default rating of 9 Nigerian banks. The banks include FBN Holdings, First Bank of Nigeria Limited, Zenith Bank PLC, United Bank for Africa PLC, Guarantee Trust Bank PLC, Access Bank PLC, Diamond Bank PLC, Fidelity Bank PLC, and Union Bank PLC. The agency also assigned Standard Bank IBTC Holdings PLC a long-term national rating of AAA in line with the rating of its 100% owned and primary operating entity, Stanbic IBTC PLC. The agency pointed out that despite the market volatility and uncertainty created by the suspension of the CBN governor, Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, the Fitch-rated banks are still strong.
And talking about the Centenary celebration, we actually went to the streets to get people's views about it.
Well, in 100 years, Nigeria has achieved a lot. In 100 years, we are still united as a nation. Economically, we are not doing badly, but we are not yet there. We'll still get there. There are a lot of things to be done. And in 100 years, I'm proud to be a Nigerian.
In terms of infrastructure, road network, basically, it's a standard of living of the people. When these are improved, I think we'll get where we're going to.
The economic aspect of it is zero. Well, we have not seen any benefit. And you can see the clean in other part of the country. And when according to this celebration, you can see what I witnessed. There's no fuel. You can see, so these are the part of things we're always saying. That what are they celebrating when they are cleaning all the innocent children?
Well, those were the views of the man on the street. However, I had a chat with someone who is a key player in the Nigerian economy, the GMD Suru Group Limited, Mr. Edward Akinlade. You'll get to listen to what he has to say after the break. Welcome back. In my conversation with Mr. Akinlade, he was quite optimistic that Nigeria has got all it takes to give its citizens a better life, but that government has a lot of role to play towards achieving that, and that is what they should strive at achieving going forward. Right, glad to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about Nigeria's 100 years celebration. We just marked the centenary. Now, one would ask, do we really have reasons to celebrate?
Well, I can only answer you from a Christian point of view, which is that whatever position you find yourself, you must always give thanks. I think we should celebrate. I think the last 14 years has been a stable democracy. If we have achieved nothing, at least we've seen a long period of democratic rules in Nigeria. So for me, that gives a call for celebration. And also, we've been together one way or the other. A number of people believe we should break, but together we should remain. So we should continue to celebrate that.
Some people believe that if Nigeria's achievement all these while, it's about unity, then we have no reason to celebrate. What about our economic development? Are we there yet?
Well, don't forget that the international agencies worldwide and the IMF has been saying that we've been growing 6-7% on average for the past 10 or on average. But the common man in Nigeria are not seeing this growth. So you will say that the boom we've seen in Nigeria has not been reflected on the common man on the streets. This is where the bulk of the problem is. Our government that has been achieving this growth either via telecom, via banking, via oil and gas, has not filtered that through to the common man on the streets. And for somebody like me, it's the common man that I'm particular about, not what the growth we're achieving in Abuja in terms of year-in, year-out revenue.
Now, as a businessman, are you happy with the situation of things?
No, I'm not. I'm not. I mean, one of the biggest issues for me has been stable electricity. Imagine if we've had stable electricity in the last 20 years in Nigeria. Imagine what the growth will be like. Imagine what growth we will have achieved, probably double-digit growth. Imagine if we have lower interest rates and access to funding for businesses. Imagine what that growth will be. Some people say unemployment in Nigeria is as high as 50%. Some people say it's 15%. But again, this 40%, this 50%, is it the 50% of those who are available to work, or 40% or 50% of the whole of Nigeria? So you need to look at it in a context. But I still believe that the rate of unemployment in Nigeria is probably the highest in the whole of Africa. And so until we start addressing these issues, it's of no consequences to the common man and businesses.
All this while, everybody seemed to be saying, oh, government has not done this, government has not done that. What about the private sector? What role are they playing? Now, the government is talking about public-private partnership, but do you think the private sector is really playing its role towards achieving economic development, because they really have a huge role to play?
Well, from where I stand, we want to do more from what we've been doing so far, but we cannot do it because the enabling environment is not there. And where somebody has even ventured into it, his hand has been burned. So when you partner government in anything, in any form or the other, all you just need to do is have a change of government. You will find out that all that partnering has gone to a waste. I know a few of my friends who, for example, bought hotel in, say, Ogun State under the previous administration. When the new government came, the whole transaction is on hold. So that is one of the biggest challenge we have in partnering with government. But also, I have always maintained over the years that government does not create employment. It's a myth, and we need to educate our politicians and our government that they cannot create employment. Worldwide, look at every government, even look at, say, on average, Lagos State. How many people work for Lagos State out of the between 15 and 20 million that works in Lagos? In Alausa, or even the total of Lagos State government, you may find 1 million. So that means that on average, what you have here is between 2.5 and 5% working for Lagos State government. So what is going to happen to the remaining people? It is the private sector that will create that job. All what we in the private sector is saying, provide an enabling environment.